Well, hey, barrel or not, everybody's favorite segment now has a theme song. Ready for it? Not from
Sure.
DJ Seaweed, from Jay Martinez, the falsetto cawer from last episode.
Oh, yes.
It's
Barrel.
it's
Barrel.
it's
Barrel.
it's barrel.
It's a hard barrel.
It's barrel.
Hard barrel.
Barrel.
It's a hard barrel.
It's barrel. Or not. It's barrel.
Barrel.
It's barrel.
Barrel.
It's barrel.
Barrel.
Barrel. Barrel. Or not.
Did you remix this?
Barrel. Jay Martinez remixed it for me.
Oh, beautiful. Thanks, Jay.
I just got an email midweek from him going, "You asked for it, you got it."
Boom. Thank you, Jay Martinez.
He's got some talent on the music producer.
So much talent. We
yes.
can do it. I feel that we could do a whole, to be honest, a lot of ideas that get kicked around the show that don't come to fruition. But I feel we could read today that Diplo, noted surfer, Kelly Slater friend Diplo, was saying that Coachella, for more or less, has past its prime. Right? He was thinking that they're struggling to get acts, and they're just kind of signing top 40 headliners without. It's not the curated experience that it once was. So I feel there's going to be a void, a black hole, a Coachella-sized hole in people's hearts. I think we could fill it with Gritella, where all of the wonderfully talented people we have on the show just perform. Just 2 days of music from listeners.
That'd be
incredible. We got DJ Seaweed, we got Jay Martinez so far. We have, for sure, we have tons more.
For sure. I've remixed a few myself. I can put together something.
Chris Cote's a listener. We'd get Chris Cote to play.
Boom.
Yep.
He could be the headliner, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
Think we could get Tom Curran to show up with his guitar?
Guarantee it. Oh, man, if we could get that, then it would be an actual hit.
He'd show up without a guitar pick.
Yep.
No wax. So we'd have to have that handy for him. But I'm intermediate at everything, so I'll just bring him. I'll be fully stocked.
Yep.
So Barrel or Not, by the way, not only does it have a theme song, but it has a sponsor. It is presented by Buell, buellsurf.com. I forgot to mention it last week, but we have a promo code. Not only does it save you money, it saves you a quarter, 25%.
I've never even heard of these kinds of savings in a code, to be honest. I've heard of 10, heard of 15, never heard of 25.
And the wetsuits are already really fairly priced, and I would say even low priced. And so take 25% off a low price, smoking deal.
I mean, it's insane. If you need a wetsuit, if you're in Australia, it's coming to be winter. If you're in Northern Hemisphere, hey man, that 1 mil, you need your 1 mil. There's going to be 2 weeks where you're going to be the coolest surfer in the water.
So the code is Buell Grit 25. So Buell is spelled Buell. Grit 25 is the number. And by the way, it's still cold here. You don't need 1 mil. I surfed this morning. I wore my 3 mil Buell, and the water temp was 60 degrees. So it's cold. Warmed up. It's warmed up a tiny bit, but it's cold. It's springtime. Cold. Yeah, it's the end of April, and it's 60 degrees. Yikes. But let me tell you, that single mil, 3 mil, it's not 3.2, it's not 4.3, it's all 3 mil. The thing is lightweight. I was like, this thing is normal. This thing is somehow lighter than my 3.2s, and it's silky. Like it felt buttery, velvety. You know what I mean?
That the Buell neoprene or whatever they use is properly some of the best I felt.
It totally is. It's epic. And I just couldn't believe it. Just felt like a 2 mil or something like that. Like it felt thin and light and maneuverable, but it was 60 degrees. I wasn't wearing booties or anything else. I was fully warm in a 3 mil at 60 degrees.
Love it.
So yeah, Buell Grit 25 is your promo code. So we've got 3 Barrel or Nas as usual today, and one came through via email that is an excellent one, but we did it 4 years ago. And I hate to leave people hanging like that. I want to acknowledge them like, hey, this is a great one. But I hate to tell you, we've already done it. But that one was giving change to homeless people.
Oh, yeah.
So
where did we stand years ago? Do you remember?
Well, I don't remember. And I'm wondering if maybe we should recycle some because our stances may have changed. But what I was going to do is just give an adjacent one to this. which is donating at the grocery store when you go to checkout. It used to be there was a little thing for change there. Now that thing is on the credit card reader on the screen, pops up. You slide your card, first thing that pops up, would you like to donate to blah,
One,
blah, blah?
2, $4, or $5.
Exactly. So what are your thoughts on donating at the grocery store?
I used to be a real consistent $1, like depending on the cause, right? But these days I'm less, just because I think it's pretty rude. I should probably go back to just doing it, right? Like the transparency maybe is not there. I'd have no reason not to trust Vons, but but I don't know necessarily that Vons, and I don't need to see the accounting. I don't like the the stance of, if I'm giving my if I'm giving my $1 somewhere, I really want to check everything and make sure there's not being used for bureaucratic fees and blah blah blah. Like, you're giving $1, man. Like, who cares if like 2 cents of it goes to the cause, But yeah, I used to regularly. I've fallen out of practice, but I'm going to get back on if I like the cause.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm so anti this for the exact reason of I feel like so much of it goes to the bureaucracy of it. Like, I want to be charitable, but I want to vet those things on my own and every year commit to them. So like, look, I have a charitable budget in my, I know how much I make and I know how much I can afford to give. And every year I will give that amount, but it's not going to be to the kiosk thing at Ralph's. You know what I mean? And like, hey, sorry, whoever it is that needs this money. But again, I think that the bigger problem I have is I am cynical. And I do think that the CEO of that company is making $500,000 a year.
I mean, but here is the thing, though. I hope the CEO of Vons or Ralph's is making more than $500,000 a year.
No, of the charity.
Oh yeah. Okay. I was really thinking you were lowballing the brave chief of executives of grocery stores. But my thing on this, though, a little bit is the charities I think are often good. It's like stuff that's like legit good, right? It's like, what's the one that's
well if they've been
one now?
If they've been vetted by Vons, then yes, they probably are.
And I don't think, like, Vons has no real interest in your dollar. They're making money off groceries, right? They have a healthy business going on. It is odd though. Why are they doing that? Are they taking a cut? Because it used to be seasonally. It used to be, and then the cashier would ask you, right? I remember always.
Yeah.
It would be like for a month or something during a certain awareness month, and the cashier would say, "Would you like to give $1 to?" And then you used to sign the thing, right?
Yeah.
You'd stick a thing on the wall. That's gone away. Now it's year round. So I wonder if they've tested this. We're gonna have to get to the bottom of this. One of our listeners knows.
Yeah.
One of our listeners knows this is a full-on racket, because it really did just quietly go to year round. Cashier doesn't say anything. It's just on the screen every time you check out.
See, I've just identified what I dislike about it so much is the fact that I even have to think about it in this way. The fact that I have to figure out if they're ripping me off, is Vons getting a take, all of that is nonsense. I don't want to have those thoughts because I've got too many other important things to think about. This is totally non-necessary.
Except though, if they are doing a good job, if it's all on the up and up, I really want to know now. If this is on the up and up, then what it does though is save you the time and energy to find a charity, to go online, to, put money, like you put your bank details in. It's all just, it's happening, it's point of sale right there. Like, you can take care of all your charity work just thanks to the Vons kiosk.
The moment they simplify it that much for you to just not think about it is when somebody steps in and rips it off. Like that, the way that human nature works is that as soon as you're not paying attention is when they make their move.
How do those charities in the pin pad get there? Like, what is the process?
There's a lobbying process, and they're going to fancy dinners to try to wine and dine the Vons exec.
That's really true. Ooh, I am so surprised. In fact, I am beyond surprised that the World Surf League doesn't have a little donate here box. Like, if the World Surf League was a grocery store, it would have multiple charities that all went to Eric Logan's Manhattan Beach lifestyle.
Totally. There needs to be a Netflix expose on this exact topic.
I mean, because
Like
it
a
has
documentary.
become ubiquitous. And I mean, is it a nationwide thing? I do believe it is. I do believe when I was driving across this fine
Yeah.
land that I encountered in every grocery store I went to, the donate 1, 3. I feel it's odd amounts too. I don't think it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's like 1, 2, 5, 10 or something. It's
Yeah.
like it takes a weird jump.
The other thing I noticed since you told me about it was the tip option for baristas and bartenders now.
Yeah.
It used to be 15, 18, and 20.
Yeah.
Now it's like 20, 25,
20.
and 30.
Yeah.
And they also flipped the orders so that the one on the far left is the highest and the one on the far right's the lowest. So it used to just be you would look automatically, your eyes start reading things on the
Ding.
left, of course.
Yep.
Yeah. And so you would just aim for that and it would be a 15. That one's now 30.
Yep. No, 30. I mean, the ones that go, like, I'm all down for, I'm a 20% tipper. That's, for meals out and things like that, right? Is 20%. So I'm fine with the 20, 22, 25 is weird though.
Yeah.
Like 25, even
It's greedy.
phenomenal service, 25%.
I know.
That's what you save at Buell. That's a
Exactly.
lot. That is a ton of money.
I was indignant. The last two that I encountered, they were both this week. It has a custom option.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to custom and give you 10% now. I normally would have given you 18, maybe 20. And now, because you're trying to force me into 20 or more, you're getting 10.
The whole tipping thing, and we've talked about this already, but it's gone so, like, I used to guilt tip basically everywhere. I'm over it. I am done. I'm not tipping for takeout food anymore. Like, I would go in and tip basically 20% for takeout. And then I stopped
know.
myself and I said, what am I doing?
I
Like,
know.
this is a service tip. And I appreciate the food. I appreciate the cooks and everything like that. But when I go eat in a restaurant, I don't go back to the kitchen and tip them. Like, that's not the way it works. You're tipping the waiter. And so if there's no waiter, don't even ask me to tip. I'm not. And so I've put my foot down on that kind of stuff.
Good. I think I started doing that during COVID. I was picking up food more frequently. And
Sure.
And I was like, well, these people are, making less money now, essentially. So I'm going to go ahead and tip during takeout. But I've carried it over and I've been doing it ever since. And so you're right. We need to reset.
And the whole thing, it's gotten so absurd everywhere.
Yeah.
Like everything. And no, Starbucks, I am now going to, I'll still tip $1 for coffee, whatever. But otherwise, like the company, it's time for you to pay your employees more. I'm tired of paying your employees.
Well, I don't remember where we landed on giving change to homeless people, but I do remember one buddy chiming in after that episode and he goes, dude, you're thinking about it all wrong. He goes, it's the one place where you can like fix an immediate need.
Yeah.
Like for all of this other stuff, it's all theoretical, right? And I think maybe one of my arguments I made on air was to the effect of like, I can't solve everybody's problems, right?
Yeah.
And we see homeless people a lot around here, like literally daily. And so either I go broke trying to solve everybody's problem, or I just have to acknowledge like I can't. I just have to kind of give it up. I do feel bad and I feel sympathy, but I can't solve everybody's problem. And he goes, no, that's where you're wrong, is you could solve that problem right now. Like that person is hungry and they need a meal. And so I've taken that to heart, and I don't give it to everybody, but there are times where you see somebody who is like destitute,
and I think it's a great practice, even not being judgy and not thinking, are they like this is probably exactly what we talked about last time, is are they going to go buy drugs, or what are they going to do with this money? Are they going to go buy alcohol? Like, who cares what they buy? Like, if you have, $1, $2, and you're walking by somebody, don't be shy.
Yeah.
Give that person $2. Your friend, exactly right. Meeting an immediate need for somebody.
Yeah, I think that's right. If you see somebody at the same exact corner every single day, you're like, that's like a job for them. Like, I understand if like you've hit the low point in your life and you're there for a day or two, but if they're there every single day, that's where I start questioning.
Yeah.
That's where I'm like, wait, couldn't you be doing something else? But
You're going to work every day. So why don't you go to other work?
right, exactly. Barrel or non number 2 that I said was immediately related to your vegetable conversation from earlier. I got home last week, and on the kitchen counter, right by the sink, there's vegetable wash spray. It's in a spray bottle. And I was like, wait a second. When I buy vegetables, let's say tomatoes, right? Not a pineapple I'm not washing in water, but like tomatoes, fruit, things like that, berries, I'm washing those in water and I let them dry and then I eat them. Well, no, my wife explained to me, what about that waxy film on the tomato? You got to get rid of that waxy film. That tomato's been exposed. It was in the back. First of all, it was in a field off the 5 freeway, getting hit by all that motor dust. Then it was in the back of a truck, uncovered. Then it's been in the grocery store with other people's grubby hands. All you're going to do is rinse water over it. Like, you can still feel the film on it. Like, spray it down with this thing, hose it off. And I thought, wow, this makes a lot of practical sense. However, I've been eating watered, only washed by water fruits and vegetables for the last 40 years, and I'm still here. I'm still kicking. They've served me well. So, washing your fruit and vegetables with vegetable fruit wash.
Okay, so number 1, I'm going to say what I do for me and mine.
Leave it outside in the rain.
I don't even wash it at all. I buy the dirtiest organic produce that I can find. And there we go. God made dirt. Dirt don't hurt. Like,
it's not the dirt you're worried about.
You're worried about the toxins.
Yes.
But if you're getting, I think theoretically, and there's a great grocery store down here in San Diego called Jimbo's, which Jimbo is such a freak. I think there's a real guy named Jimbo who is such a freak that if any of his produce is like touches anything even related to non-organic practices, whatever, then, it's gone out of the store. So I trust Jimbo to do what's right for me. So I think, Jimbo, you're getting the good stuff. I'm not even going to wash this. Who cares? Just eating it. But for non-organic, then I'm going to go, I'm going to say vegetable wash is just, it's too high a hill. It is a hurdle I can't hop. Like, finding another thing to get out to do another thing, an extra thing, I just don't have the time for. I'll take slow death via toxicity.
That's how I feel about it as well. And the other part of that argument is developing your tolerance for those sort of things, right?
Yeah.
Those sort of things, right? So I don't want to sanitize my world entirely. And I don't know where that line is, but vegetable wash is on the wrong side of that line.
I mean, it's one step too far.
And how long until we find out that vegetable wash gives you cancer?
Precisely. The glycerin or whatever in that vegetable wash is actually the real problem.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, good. I like what you're saying, though, is just spend a little bit more money and a little bit more effort and put your trust in somebody who's great at their job. Jimbo.
Precisely. I mean, I would imagine that there is like and I'm not saying Whole Foods, since Whole Foods got purchased by Amazon, you can't trust in them anymore. But there is like a lowercase Whole Food grocer in every neighborhood, and totally. Go there for you don't have to buy your everything there, but go buy at least your fruits and vegetables from a like quality organic produce.
Totally. Great advice. Final barrel or not, leaving a voicemail.
Oh, so no barrel. Except I like it when people do it to me. I don't like to leave them. I don't leave them.
Oh, see, I hate when people do it to me. I don't want to listen to them.
Well, I tell you, I don't listen to them ever. I look at the voice transcript, and half times it's just gobbledygook, but you can get a good enough, like, I can suss out good enough what the message was. I'll never listen.
Yeah.
But I like that voice transcript. And I'll tell you, I like that. I'm such a textual person, I suppose, that like when we've talked about this, I think we even did it as a barrel or not, voice memos.
Yeah.
Or voice, voice texts.
Yeah, I think it might be memo.
You gotta
you're talking about where you record your voice and it transcribes it into a text for you, or the one where you push record and you say it and it leaves it in the text message?
I'm talking about the one where you push and you say and it leaves in the text, because there's no transcript of that. You have to listen to that, right? That has really come to annoy me. Like,
Yeah, of course, because
I
they're
want,
forcing you to listen to their message.
and like, couldn't you have just typed it?
Yeah.
And or if you don't like to type, couldn't you have just done the voice to text thing? Or I don't get the point of it. But at least with voicemails, they at least the Apple phone does do the transcript, and I like that. I like
Well,
knowing why you called.
leaving a voicemail is a thing of yesteryear that no longer serves any purpose in our lives. And I called a friend the other day. I was in the car and it goes to voicemail, and his outgoing message said, "Hey, thanks for calling. Sorry I missed you. Go ahead and send a text to this exact number and I'll get back to you via text as soon as I can." And I was like, genius. You solved my problem for me. I didn't want to leave you the voicemail. You don't want to listen to my voicemail. And you're right. If I send a text, the exact same device, you will get that on and you will be able to deal with it when you're ready to deal with it.
Here's the problem, though. There's sometimes, I'm going to say not so rare, that you just got to talk something out with somebody and it's not going to work in text. And so the call is because I wanted to talk to for some specific talky reason. If I was going to text you, I would have texted you, right? I think we're all, I mean, you and I'm no spring chicken, but I am well aware of text and how to text and when to text. Sometimes you just need to talk something out. That's when you call, and that's why I suppose I like the voicemail transcript, is because then I will see, okay, is this a talky thing or is this a texty thing? Like,
Yeah.
can I text you back? Got your message. Here's the information you were looking for, or am I going to return this call?
Yeah. I'm all for the call. I'm not opposed to the call and talking it out.
But
I
if
don't
this
need
guy,
to say I don't need to say that. I'll even text people at times like, "Hey, give me a call when you're free."
sure,
Because if I call them, I don't know if they're available or not, but I do want to talk it out. I don't want to leave them a message. I'll wait till they call me back.
that's true. I mean, that is the very polite thing to do. But what were you calling this friend about in the first place? Was it a talky thing or a
Yes,
texty thing?
something that required being talking about. Yeah, being
So did you
talked about.
text him, "Hey, call me when you get a minute"?
Yep.
And did you feel bad that you wasted time calling him first? Did you think, oh,
I didn't feel bad about it, but it was a logical sequence of events in my mind.
yeah,
I called, he didn't answer. He told me just to text him, so I texted him, and then 20 minutes later he called me back. We chatted.
yeah. So, but you really could have cut. That could have been valuable time that you
Yeah.
would have spent with your son, like time
I
that
was
you
in
will
the
never
car.
get back.
I do it all in the car. That's the other thing. All right. Well, hey, for those who do like leaving voicemails, listener line is 760-237-0150. We do love those voicemails, obviously.
So much.
We
And that's the
live
thing
by
too. Imagine if we, part of this listener line that's so beautiful that I've realized over the time, because we've had the email in forever, right?
Yeah.
Those are great too. And some of those, like, we've had works of art in email, but I mean, there's been so many. I'm thinking of one specifically who is just such a well executed email or story in text. Anyway, we've also had spoken word art on the listener line. Both
Yeah.
are different kinds of art, but both are art.
And both still come in.